The New Orleans Saints just spent the last few months doing something nobody expected. While the rest of the league was chasing headlines and handing out flashy contracts, Mickey Loomis and Kellen Moore quietly tore down the old roster and rebuilt it with a level of aggression that feels completely out of character for a team most people wrote off. They brought in Travis Etienne to fix the backfield. They added David Edwards to protect the blind side. They grabbed Noah Fant to give the passing game a weapon it has not had in years. And all of it revolves around a young quarterback named Tyler Shuck, who took over the offense last season and made everyone in the building believe again. This is not the same team that stumbled through the early part of 2025. This is a franchise that smells weakness in the NFC South and is sprinting straight toward it. But the offense is only half of what makes this offseason so different. On defense, the Saints brought Caden Ellis back on a significant deal to anchor the linebacker room, and they still have Chase Young hunting quarterbacks off the edge. The pieces are real. The depth is better than it has been in years. And the best part, they are not done yet. The 2026 NFL Draft is right around the corner, and New Orleans is sitting at number 8 overall with a roster that already checked off most of its biggest needs in free agency. That means on draft night, they are not desperate. They are dangerous. They can sit back, wait for the board to fall, and take the best player available without reaching, without panicking, without forcing something that does not fit. Here's where it gets really interesting. The Saints have been quietly building a connection with one of the biggest college football programs in the country, and the players coming out of that program could completely reshape this roster. On top of that, there is a trade brewing behind the scenes that most fans have not even considered yet, one that involves a quarterback most people assumed was part of the future. The NFC South is wide open, and the Saints are positioning themselves to take control of it for the next 5 years. But to understand how they plan to do that, you have to start with the quarterback room and a signing that looked like nothing but turned out to mean everything. When the Saints signed Zach Wilson to a 1-year deal, most people shrugged and moved on. A backup quarterback signing in March, who cares? But here is what that move actually tells you. Tyler Shuck is the guy. That has been clear since he took over the starting job and the entire offense started breathing differently. But the real message is about Spencer Rattler. Not because he is a bad player. He showed real flashes, real arm talent, real moments that made you think he could develop into something. But when the guy ahead of you is clearly better and the team goes out and signs someone else to stand behind him, the writing is on the wall in letters you cannot miss. The genius of this move is in the style. Zach Wilson is a pocket passer who pushes the ball downfield, which is exactly how Tyler Shuck plays at 6'5" with that cannon attached to his shoulder. Spencer Rattler is different. He is a scrambler, a creator, someone who makes magic happen when the pocket breaks down. If Shuck goes down, you do not want to flip your entire offense upside down. You want the next guy to run the same system without asking everyone else to adjust. Wilson fits that. Rattler does not. That is not a knock on Rattler. That is just smart roster construction from Kellen Moore and his staff. Now here is the part nobody is talking about. Rattler is on one of the most tradable contracts in football. His cap number for 2026 is only about $1.1 million. In 2027, it bumps to $1.2 million. That is nothing. Teams are going to call and the Saints are going to answer. But Rattler is not the only player on this roster who could be flipped for draft capital. There is another name that most fans are completely sleeping on, and his situation is about to get very interesting. Losing Demario Davis this offseason hurt. There is no way around that. But the Saints did not sit around feeling sorry for themselves. They went out and brought Caden Ellis back on a significant deal, handing him the keys to anchor that linebacker room. Behind him, you have Danny Stutzman, Jalen Ford, and Isaiah Stallbird. All young, all hungry, all waiting for their chance to prove they belong. So where does that leave Pete Werner? Right in the middle of a trade conversation that could save the Saints over $6 million in cap space if they move him after June 1st. Let me be clear about something. Pete Werner is not a bad football player. He has been a solid contributor, a reliable presence, And then any team that trades for him would be getting a proven linebacker who knows how to play winning football. But the Saints have a logjam now. Too many bodies, not enough snaps. And the young guys need reps. Specifically, Danny Stutzman is a rookie who plays like a wrecking ball. The coaching staff needs to unleash him. He has the speed, the instincts, the physicality to be a game changer in this defense. You do not develop talent by keeping it on the bench behind veterans who could bring back assets. Trading Werner instead of cutting him is the smart play because you actually get something in return. A mid-round pick, a late-round pick. Whatever it is, that is more value than just releasing him and getting nothing. And if the Saints draft another linebacker in April, you can almost guarantee Werner will be moved. But trades and cap savings are just one piece of this puzzle. There is something much bigger happening between this franchise and one specific college program, and it could define the Saints for years to come. The Saints sent a small army to the Ohio State Pro Day, and that was not a coincidence. Kellen Moore was there, Jeff Ireland was there, Brandon Staley was there, Keith Williams was there. When your head coach, your top personnel executives, and your defensive coordinator all show up to the same campus on the same day, you are not just browsing. You are shopping with a plan. Reports from Nick Underhill confirmed exactly what everyone suspected. The Saints took multiple Buckeyes out to dinner that night, including Caleb Downs, Carnell Tate, Sonny Styles, Arvil Reese, Tywone Malone, and Cade McDonald. That is not casual interest. That is deep, intentional evaluation. Kellen Moore spoke after the Pro Day and made a point to praise the character of those Ohio State players. He called them excellent people and really good football players who are prepared for the NFL. That word, character, keeps coming up with this coaching staff. It is clearly a priority in how Moore wants to build this roster. The Buckeyes fit that standard perfectly. The fact that the Saints brought multiple players to the same dinner tells you they are not just targeting one guy. They wanted to see how these prospects interact in a relaxed setting, how they carry themselves off the field, because that matters just as much as the tape. Now here is where this gets really exciting. Two of those players at dinner could legitimately be the pick at number 8 overall. Both would fill massive holes on this roster. One is a wide receiver who has already told the media he wants to catch passes from Tyler Shuck. The other is a defensive prospect that some evaluators are calling a once-in-a-generation talent. The Saints are locked in on Ohio State, and the Buckeyes might be about to take over New Orleans. Carnell Tate is not hiding how he feels about the New Orleans Saints. At the NFL Combine, someone asked him which quarterbacks he would love to catch passes from. He listed Patrick Mahomes, Tyler Shuck, Josh Allen, and Jaden Daniels, in that exact order. He put Shuck right next to the biggest names in the sport. Then, at the Ohio State Pro Day, he went even further. He talked about Keith Williams, the Saints wide receiver coach, saying every time they see each other, they laugh and joke around, and that Williams told him he would love to coach him if the opportunity comes. Tate finished by saying, if all the cards fall right, he will be a Saint. That is not subtle. That is a player telling the world exactly where he wants to go. The tape backs up every bit of that confidence. In 2025, Carnell Tate posted an 85.7% contested catch rate. He went 12 for 14 in those situations. That number is absurd. He is the best wide receiver in this entire draft class with elite route running, incredible body control, and the mindset of a true number 1 target. He is also a willing blocker who plays with an alpha mentality on every single snap. Pair him with Chris Olave, and suddenly Tyler Shuck has a legitimate 1A, 1B receiving duo that changes the math for every defensive coordinator in the NFC South. But here's the thing that makes this draft so fascinating. Carnell Tate might not even be the best option at number 8. There is another Ohio State player who has been described as an extension of the defensive coordinator. A player so rare that trying to overthink the pick might be the biggest mistake New Orleans could make. Caleb Downs is not just another safety in this draft class. He is the kind of player that changes how an entire defense operates the second he steps on the field. At the NFL Combine, he told the media that his confidence never drops no matter the circumstance, and that his mind puts him above most people in how he processes the game and plays with instincts. That is not arrogance. That is a player who understands exactly what makes him different. Evaluators have described him as an extension of the defensive coordinator, someone who sees the play before it develops and reacts faster than anyone else on the field. Brandon Staley would have a chess piece that can line up in multiple spots and create total chaos for opposing offenses. Now, some fans are going to hear safety at number 8 and immediately push back. And that reaction is understandable because traditionally you want to go edge rusher, wide receiver, or quarterback in the top 10. But Caleb Downs is not a traditional safety. He is a one-of-one type player who creates flexibility in the entire defensive back room. The Saints already have Justin Reed and Jonas Sanker, who is heading into a promising second year, so bringing in Downs does not mean you are replacing anyone. It means you are unlocking the ability to move pieces around, play to everyone's strengths, and create a secondary that opposing quarterbacks have nightmares about. The message with Caleb Downs is simple. Do not overthink it. If he is sitting there at number 8, the Saints would be getting a player who could anchor this defense for the next decade. He is special. He is rare. Trying to talk yourself out of the pick because of positional value might be the one mistake you cannot afford to make. But the question remains, should the Saints even stay at 8? Or should they trade the pick entirely? That answer might surprise you. The 8th overall pick is the single most valuable asset the New Orleans Saints currently possess, and every team in the league knows it. Teams are going to call wanting to trade into the top 10. And analysts are going to suggest the Saints move back and stockpile picks. Pro Football Focus even said that trading down may offer the most value by allowing New Orleans to accumulate extra draft capital and address multiple roster holes. On paper, that logic makes sense. But here is why the Saints should ignore all of it and stay exactly where they are. Mickey Loomis has made roughly 27 trades during his tenure, and he has never once traded back in the first round of the NFL draft. Not once. That tells you everything about how this front office operates. When the Saints are on the clock, they make their pick and they move forward. Do not trade the 8th pick for A.J. Brown. Do not trade it for Max Crosby. Do not package it in some blockbuster deal that sounds exciting on social media, but leaves you without a foundational piece. The Saints filled major needs in free agency already with Travis Etienne, David Edwards, Noah Fant, and Caden Ellis. That work gives them the luxury of sitting at 8 and simply taking the best player on the board, whether that is Caleb Downs, Carnell Tate, or an edge rusher like Reuben Bain Jr. from Miami. The power of this draft position is that the Saints do not need to force anything. They are not desperate. They are not scrambling to fill 5 holes at once. They did that work already. Now they get to be patient, trust their board, and add a game-changing talent to a roster that is already on the rise. But the draft is only one part of the offseason equation. There are still moves that could shake this roster before Week 1 even arrives. The Chris Olave contract situation needs to get resolved soon. Reports say extension talks have already taken place and a deal almost got done. But as of right now, pen has not hit paper. Olave had a massive breakout in 2025 once Tyler Shuck took over at quarterback. The chemistry between those two was instant and obvious. He is a 1,000-yard receiver when he is healthy and available, and his best season in the NFL came last year playing alongside Shuck. The price tag is only going up every week the Saints wait. Pay him now. Lock him in. Remove the distraction and let him focus on building something even bigger in year 2 with his quarterback. Then there is the Alvin Kamara question that nobody has a clean answer to yet. The Saints signed Travis Etienne to a 4-year deal, and Kamara has said publicly that he would rather retire than play for another team. His contract was restructured so that only $3 million is guaranteed out of over $10 million on the books, giving the Saints flexibility no matter what happens. There is a world where Kamara and Etienne coexist as a devastating 1-2 punch in the backfield, and honestly, that would be fun to watch. But the Saints are clearly turning the page to a new era, and however this plays out, New Orleans has protected itself financially. And finally, the Spencer Rattler trade is coming. Whether it happens during the draft when a team needs a quarterback, during training camp when someone gets hurt, or during the regular season before the trade deadline, the Saints are going to flip Rattler into draft picks. The Las Vegas Raiders could want him as a bridge behind Fernando Mendoza. The Los Angeles Rams could see him as a post-Matthew Stafford option. A contending team might want him as insurance. Either way, the Saints have positioned themselves perfectly. This offseason has been a masterclass, and the 2026 draft is about to put the finishing touches on something truly special in New Orleans.